Welcome back, everybody. Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM-1220. The first show, because what is it, Tilo?
Inaugural.
Yeah, that's our show.
An inaugural show.
And it's a Mind Your Own Business with Ed and Doug, or Doug and Ed, whatever your pleasure is.
You always remember your first.
So, Ed, you going to introduce our first guest?
Yeah, he's my first guest. Steve Youlios from Jersey Mike's. I feel he's famous, but, it's like anybody. Some people may not know who he is.
I don't know if he's famous, but his sandwiches at his shops
and I've watched him
wonderful.
grow faster. He hasn't gotten fatter, but his stores have. When I met you, you had one store?
One store.
Yeah, so and we the day we became partners in 25 Score, we were both sitting at the Saugus boutique, and we had another business selling tween jewelry. I am so glad we don't do it anymore. But I went up to Steve and I said, how you doing, Steve? And he goes, oh, Ed, I've got the paperwork on my desk. I was helping the previous owner. And he says, I'll get around to it eventually. And I just said, don't worry about it. I just want to let you know, I bought 25 Score, and it was like the first conversation right after switching over. And Steve says, come see me on Monday. And he was my very first advertiser with a new company, and it was within 2 hours of buying the company. And we've been joined at the hip since. And but I wanted to let you talk a little bit about your experience with what we're doing and what makes Jersey Mike's great.
Well, first of all, the experience with 25 Score, I was as I've told you before, very reticent to form a relationship, because my theory or philosophy at that time is, basically that the customers are going to be coming into my store anyway. And I don't say that in an arrogant fashion.
No.
And that, why would I want to do something that only made it seem that we're giving them a discount because they saw the sticker in the window?
No, you can do that by yourself. You just put a sign, 10% off, you walk through the door.
And, just getting to know you and just listening to what you were doing. Of course, I've got to admit, and I don't mean this to be only flattering, but it was a lot because of you and your personality and your enthusiasm and your passion for it that really made me feel comfortable in giving it another try. Because I think at that time, the 25 Score wasn't quite as...
It was, at best, it was drifting.
Right. And you really convinced me the value of having a discount card in that fashion, because it not only brings new people in potentially, but also makes the people who are coming in on a regular basis become even more frequent, frequent your business more regularly.
We've looked at a lot of the merchants that had come on where their customers were coming in once every 6 weeks, and some of the ones that were perceived as a higher dollar amount. The kids, and a lot of the kids, they'll make a buying decision based on 75 cents. They know exactly to the penny what they can spend for lunch, and if it's $5.75, they'll buy it. If it's $6.25, they go, oh, what a ripoff. And this is the mentality of the kids. And we have 10,000 high school kids that are carrying these scorecards. Right. They'll make the decision based on that, and they'll come every day instead of once every 6 weeks.
Along those lines, our product is not obviously the least expensive in town. We'd like to think there are a lot of reasons why. But to that point, we've done a lot of promotions when we have grand openings that involve high schools. And, the kids are obviously excited to come in. We give them free sandwiches for a donation. And the bottom line is that after then, when we go back to our regular pricing, you lose the kids. But now that they have an opportunity to have a discount through a card like 25 Score, it really makes a difference for them to be able to afford to come in and realize the value of it.
Yeah, and what I like about Steve is that he is what I call the proverbial best case scenario for a business owner. And I'll explain it.
Is that because I have a 25 Score merchant?
No, okay. No. I would say that about you even if you weren't one. But because the role model is that he cares about everyone that walks in his store. There is nobody who's been in the Jersey Mike's and all 4 stores with Rep It Up that don't know him and he doesn't know their name. And I think that's what you need to do. Go ahead, Doug.
No, I was just going to say, we want to tell folks, if you're just tuning in, we're Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed on AM-1220 KHTS, and we're talking to Steve. Steve, where are your locations?
We have 4 open. We're opening up a 5th one later this year. Our locations are in Saugus, at the corner of Bouquet and Newhall Ranch Road. Our second location is up in Stevenson Ranch on the Old Road. Then we also have one in Valencia on Copper Hill Drive. We have one in Canyon Country, which is on Soledad. And the new one that we're going to be opening probably around April is going to be in Golden Valley in that new shopping center.
Oh, wow.
There.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. If I may, Steve, did your company, your stores feel the recession like everybody else did?
That's a great question. I've been very blessed and very fortunate. It hasn't been hasn't had as much impact for us as it has on other restaurants. And real reason for that is it's a great quality product, and it's at a price point that is affordable, granted a little higher than other sandwich locations. But when you have something like that, then the family, person going out for lunch can afford to do it regularly. Our nighttime business for dinner is fabulous. Again, because you can come in and get some terrific sandwiches that are healthy for you. You can take them home, and they really do work as a dinner for the family, and it's affordable.
We have a niece named Rachel that came out to visit us a few years back, and we went in and talked to Steve and said she's allergic to all these different things. And I just remember Steve bringing all the boxes out of the back to make sure it didn't have soy and something. And when we determined that the bread might have something she might be allergic to, he said, go next door to the store, find bread that she can eat.
That's right.
And I'll keep the loaf here for the whole week while she's here so I can make a sandwich for her. That's the kind of guy he is. So it's just the big heart that he's done. Every kid in high school wants to work at Jersey Mike's.
Thank you.
Because it's a fun place to work, and he teaches you how to work.
Thank you.
Steve, are you going to be able to hang around over the break?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We got some games for you, so we're going to learn more about Steve.
All right, folks, so you're listening to Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed on AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back.